Hey everybody, happy Sunday. So this week is turning out to be a pretty loaded week. We have a lot of economic events happening, and the SPY and the QQQ are at pivotal points. So first up, we have the QQQ, which is currently underneath the very important 382 support level. If you look back at the past several weeks, the QQQ has not closed this low. I don't think at all. Let's see. Last week's close was 379.86. So yeah, last week we closed like 15 cents lower. But this week was the second lowest close we've had in the past several weeks. So that does show weakness without a doubt. And on top of that, we have, more downward pressure, because we have this upper wick here. So, that's a sign of a lot of weakness. If you look at the past, the QQQ barely ever closes below the 21-week moving average. If you look here, it never closes below it. Here as well, and here. The last time it closed below the 21-week moving average was back in 2020, right here, right? And so the next week was another week where it was an inside candle the next week, and then we tanked below the 50-week moving average. So, and then the other time was this time here. I guess in this time frame we did do it a few times. We have this break, and then we have this break as well, where we broke it and then came right back up. And this break as well, where we broke down and then found support and flew higher. So, that could be a very negative sign that we have the 21-week moving average broken. We're going to need to break above that 382 level immediately on Monday, and we're going to want to close above that level. Otherwise, the QQQ might be in trouble. So if you look at the daily chart I have here, the vast majority of the past few weeks, the QQQ has spent most of its time in this trend channel. So, as long as it's in this trend channel, you can predict its move by, saying, oh, well, if it's at the bottom, it's going to go up. If it's at the top, it's going to go down. And then if it's in the middle, that's when it's more complicated. And it's like, well, what's it going to do next? So if the QQQ, heads up and finds resistance at the top of this trend channel, we could most certainly head down again. It's not really bullish until it gets a close over 391, and even then, it's hard to tell. But if you do look at the past, we have this downtrend, and then we come right back up over all the moving averages. We have this another downtrend here, and then we come right back up over all the moving averages, and now we have this downtrend here. And it tried to do the same thing, and it tanked again. So we still have the chance of doing the same type of pattern where we come back up above all of the moving averages. So it looks like the QQQ is kind of in a tricky spot. But under that 382, 383 level, we're down below a very major support level, right? And in the past few weeks, the past few days, we've actually closed below that 382, 383 level a number of times, which shows a lot of weakness, because if the market was strong, we'd be consistently closing over that 383 level, as we did here and here, here and here. But we have multiple days now where we've closed under that 383 level. So that's a really bad sign, and I think if we head higher, we could wait maybe till we break 382 again to go short. So yeah, over the 50-day moving average is where we can get bullish, and then under 369 is where we get bearish. You can easily see the 200-day moving average, which it looks like the QQQ hasn't seen in quite some time. So that would definitely be interesting. I think if we do head down to the 200-day moving average, we will bounce. As for the SPY, oh, okay, it looks like I didn't do a weekly chart for the SPY. Could do that now. So if you look at the weekly here, there's really not a lot going on here. It just looks like we're consolidating between 454 and 471, and there's really not much happening if we're between those two levels. So, if the SPY gets under 454, that's bearish. We'll be under the 21-week moving average and the 9 EMA on the weekly. So we will have the potential to head down to the 50-week moving average. The SPY very rarely breaks the 21-week moving average, as you can see in the past, couple years. Looks like since May of 2020, we've only really broken below. We've only closed below the 21-week moving average, like one time it seems since May. And we've broken below it a few times here, it looks like, and in here obviously. But the thing is, the difference here is that we hadn't consolidated for so long when we made this move down. This was more of a pullback from a extended move up, right? So whereas this time we have a consolidation of several weeks. So, this time if we break that 21 week and we break that 454, that has more significance than when we were just pulling back, because this had profit takers selling on the way down, whereas now, since we've been consolidating for so long, if we take out the downside, then there's a high chance that that sellers will be taking over. Now, if we look at the daily, it looks like the past few weeks you just spent most of our time in this area here, but we are below the 50-day moving average, which we've only spent really 1 or 2 days under. Maybe besides this day. So I mean, we've spent a few days under it, but it seems like it's becoming more of a resistance than anything now. And it looks like the 9 EMA is going to cross over the 50-day pretty soon. And when that happens, that's a pretty bearish event, right? If you look here, last time it happened, the SPY headed down quite a bit. So we'll definitely be watching for the 9 EMA crossover from the 50. The SPY needs to retake these moving averages and overcome like 472 to really get bullish. And ideally over 474 we can see an all-time high. We can see 484, I'd say, because we'll be back in this trend channel, and over 474 we only have resistance at like 478, 477, 79, so yeah, under 460 for downside, under 453 for a drop to the 200, and over 474 for upside. Let me write that down for myself. SPY. So we have 474 for upside, and we have 460 and 453 for downside. Yeah, so under 460 though, I really think we're gonna quickly see 453. So that'll be interesting to watch for this week. And as for the VIX, it looks like we're below that 20 level, which seems to be a major resistance for VIX. So, we're going to have to get above, let's say, 21 and close above 21 for the market to be bearish. So, a VIX close over 21 is bearish. And then I'd say, if it gets under like 17.2, could head down quite a bit, maybe all the way to 15. And if we take a look at PCALL, the put call ratio, you can see that it's quite elevated. And in the past, when it gets this elevated, there's a higher chance of the market being bullish, right? So 12/3/21 was the last time it was really elevated. And as you can see, 12/3/21, we ran what's that, 20 points? 379 to 399. Yeah, 20 points we ran in a couple days. And that was the last time that the PCALL was really elevated, in my opinion. Right? And then we have this day as well, 9/20/21. And we bottomed out at 361 and ran to 372. So we had an 11-point run last time. So, it looks like the PCALL may need to come down. And if that happens, then the market should head higher in the short term. And once this heads back down to like 0.4, 0.5, let's say, maybe we could see more downside. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions about the PCALL or the VIX or anything at all, please feel free to leave a comment.